counterterrorism incidents.
That is the DigiDog, and it's back. After being originally unveiled as something that the NYPD might use a couple of years ago, people had issues with it, obviously. It's back, and it's not just the DigiDog, actually. There's also a GPS tracker for stolen cars they're gonna be using, and a cone-shaped security robot that will be rolled out in a manner that is, quote, transparent, consistent, and always done in close collaboration with the people we serve, who will soon be subjugated by robots. Here's a photo of some of the robotic forces that will soon be deployed. So you obviously have the DigiDog. The tracking system is called Star Chase. It will allow police to launch a GPS tag that will attach itself to a stolen car so that officers can track the vehicle's location, which in theory doesn't sound that bad. In the very specific context that they seem to be describing, where the cops see the stolen car, I guess they're chasing it, so they shoot the tag onto it, and then they're able to find it later. Aside from that, it seems like this could be used for a lot of bad stuff if you're just routinely tracking people's cars. None of them are gonna use that in their personal life or anything. And then of course you also have if we can put up the photo again, you have the autonomous security robot, which Mayor Adams compared to a Roomba, which will be deployed inside the Times Square subway station in a 7-month pilot program starting this summer. I think it's the big one in the front. It might be the little one in the back. Whatever it is, soon people will be peeing on it and pushing it into the tracks. So JR, we have a little bit more of the DigiDog. Why don't we take a look at this and then we'll discuss.
Here's DigiDog. The robot will be remotely controlled only by trained TARU, Technical Assistance and Response Unit officers, and be deployed to assist ESU, or Emergency Service Unit, in hostage negotiations, counterterrorism incidents, and other situations as needed. This will only be deployed at the direction of the Chief of Department, myself. This is something that's been used with the FDNY for the last year, and they've had positive success with it. And we believe that this DigiDog will help save lives, increase public safety, keep people who are suspects in crime, people who are suffering from mental health crisis. It will help them and help us provide better service to them.
How is it? Like, I'm not saying that there's no role in a hostage situation, but what exactly is the DigiDog doing in that case? Can you be very clear? Is it shooting people? Because it seems like in some of these, that's the only thing that might be helpful. You clearly don't want to send in a person who might get shot, so you send in the DigiDog who might get shot to shoot someone? Or to what? Is it a communication device? Is it surveillance? What exactly is the DigiDog doing in this case? I would love for them to not be quite so vague about it, JR. What do you think?
Well, people always have the worry that we're gonna go to iRobot. I think it was the movie, where they start having the minds their own and they're gonna take over and now humans are done. But the first stage, before we get to that science fiction ending, is that humans are still in control of these robots, and then it's by the whims of these humans, which are the same humans that have a history of imposing things like stop and frisk, or even when it wasn't a direct policy for the NYPD, it was stuff that officers just do. They do it all over the country. It's one of those things. So therefore, they've lost, at least they've separated themselves from this. From having to walk up on suspects themselves, send the robot in, just like they've sent in, real dogs in before, but those are real police officers, so they actually probably care about those dogs. This one is a machine. We can go in and send him in anytime we want and pull off whatever kinds of things we'd like. One of the things that cop mentioned was mental health it would help with. How does it help in mental health situations if someone's struggling with a mental health crisis and you send in a robot? Is there something programmed in it? Maybe it is. Again, you have them honest questions. Maybe it's programmed to have certain kinds of responses for people dealing with certain situations and it somehow reads it. I don't know. It seems like it's pretty amazing technology. And if it is, tell us. Where's the transparency of how this is gonna work? Hostage negotiations, counterterrorism situations, and he said other situations is needed. What other situations? Protests, maybe when we've had cop cars driving in the middle of protests like we saw in the summer of 20, they use their cars for these situations in times, depending on what the cop wants to do. We don't know what they want to do. We've had stories of cops that have used the current technology they have to track down ex-girlfriends, wives, harass people, maybe just a woman that rejected them. We've seen these stories. So if they have further technology that distances them from having to actually physically do this stuff, it can get very dangerous. And that's why we keep pushing this narrative of you just have to trust the cops.
Yeah, you just have to trust our new K-9000 overlords. Maybe, I don't know. I need more details, because if I had to decide right now, I would say Digidog the police. Maybe these robots will end up making everyone safer and will cut down on the police use of force. Probably not, is what my gut would say. Probably it's gonna result in a lot more surveillance and cops, feeling like they can send that in there without risking one of their lives. Maybe that results in less violence, or maybe it does the exact opposite. I'm not an expert, but you know who is? Ileana Mendez Panate, Program Director of Communities United for Police Reform, who says this latest announcement is just the most recent example of how Mayor Adams allows unmitigated overspending of the NYPD's massively bloated budget. The NYPD is buying robot dogs and other fancy tech, while New Yorkers who can't access food stamps because city agencies are short-staffed, and New Yorkers are getting evicted because they can't access their right to counsel. Yeah, these things are not cheap. The programs to train and operate them are not gonna be cheap. The maintenance is not gonna be cheap. Thankfully, New York doesn't have any other potential use for the money, I guess. I like robots. I'm not against robots. I just don't know if they're the people who should get the first crack at using robots, maybe.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.